About Nordstrom, here's another department store in major trouble. It's down big, that's the stock, after it cut its profit and its sales forecast. How about that? 17% drop for Nordstrom. Now this, officials are 99% sure that Jihadi John is dead after an American drone specifically targeted that terrorist. Ashley, they're saying 99% sure he was dead. He is
dead. Yeah, there have been reports from the ground, and of course it's all very confusing that he was rushed to a hospital, but authorities both in the UK and the US said no. It appears the evidence is very strong evidence that he was in a vehicle with someone else when the drone struck, and
he was being followed by the drone.
Yes.
They got a visual
They've been on him for 3 or 4 days, following his
confirmed that it
movements.
was him.
Yes.
He gets into a car, they kill him.
Yes.
That's what it reportedly
That's exactly
happened.
the way it happened. So that's why they say, you know, without being on the ground and verify, it would take DNA evidence to prove it.
Okay. Let's bring in Zuhdi Jasser, a favorite guest on this program. Zuhdi is the, I'm going to call you the guy who represents Muslims in America who like America and like living in America. Can I say that? Is that okay?
Well, sure, and there's many of us doing all this hard work to fight for liberty and against, and we call it as it is. Islamism is the evil, liberty is the solution.
Are you cheering on the death of Jihadi John?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a branding defeat. This is a guy, by the way, who wanted to die anyway, so I'm glad that we ushered him towards that hell of his. And I think, if anything, as Prime Minister Cameron said, this gives closure to the families who saw their loved ones massacred by this monster. But let's not fool ourselves. This is not a military victory. He's a soldier. He's a recruiter. But he wasn't a military leader. He was simply a branding agent. And there are thousands after him.
Isn't it a victory in the sense that he's dead? He was out front as in terms of image for ISIS, and now he's dead, and therefore that's bad for the image of ISIS as a successful, strong organization that's impenetrable.
Well, the image is certainly hurt, but there'll be others that'll come after him. The existential threat is still there. The jihadis are pouring in. Yes, he was part of their recruitment tool, so it'll be interesting to see who they use next. I mean, all these radical groups like Al-Qaeda used Adam Gaddan, and Shabab used Al-Amriki. You know, they've used Jihad. So the bottom line is that who's going to come next? But their operations are still full throttle. And by the way, they revel in martyrdom. So we have to target the thousands, not just this one.
Now, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani, he wants the U.S. to apologize for past behavior. What do you make of that? Is that more sort of tweaking of America?
It's just more of the same, you know, Stuart. I mean, these guys aren't going to change. We're paying attention to it now, so we sort of see them as the bottom line is they're still shaking their fists at us. They're not unclenching it, Mr. Obama, as our president said they would. They're slugging us daily. They do it through propaganda war. They're taking our citizens as prisoners. They're continuing to target their own citizens. They're sponsoring terrorism. They're sponsoring Assad. I mean, they just told the Iraqi government yesterday, Stuart, that they tell them to lean towards Russia and lean away from America. So they see the strategic weakness, the vacuum that we're leaving. And they're sort of, by the way, they stopped dismantling their centrifuges a few days ago, and they're warning us. They're saying, you know what? You better not put those sanctions back in because we're in control of the show and you're not.
We lost hands down. Looks like that to me. And would you agree with that?
We have. We lost on every front, the PR front, the military front, the regional front, strategic front. I mean, we are weaker than we've ever been, and they're continuing to move forward, and they're telling every media they can. Rouhani is filling in the gaps when possible to let the region know that he's in control and America is irrelevant.
Zuhdi Jasser. Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, 11 years in America's Navy. Thanks very much for joining us, Zuhdi. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Now this, a new Washington Post poll